Is that a boating hat?
Yep.
It is already. Hello. Nada. It's a beautiful day here.
Yeah.
Did you have a nice weekend?
Yeah. I tried calling you back, but
Oh, it's all right. Oh, good. I figured I don't know what times church is or different things. I know you guys were running around. Just talked to Alicia for a little bit. Saw Rice last night and Luch for a few minutes.
Yep.
Hugs for everybody. Is everybody from vacation going to Brandon's wedding, or like everyone from the Massachusetts trip, or no?
going what?
To Brandon's wedding?
You
To
talking
Brandon to Brandon's wedding.
Who is Brandon?
Or I'm sorry, not Brandon. Gear.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm not Gear.
Jason.
Right.
Jason Rice is going, and maybe Alicia.
Rice and Alicia. You, Rice and Alicia.
Maybe Alicia. I don't know. She said she might go to that.
Yeah, I think she will. I think she will. But not the rest of the gang. Not Brandon. Not Marco.
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Or Dave. No.
No.
Okay. Jason said he was not feeling good tonight earlier to me and Portia, so he was going to bed early.
Okay. No doubt. No problemo.
Hi, Portia.
Hello, happy Monday.
Hi. How was your weekend?
How was yours?
Yeah, it was good. A lot going on, but
Amazing.
good. Yeah. Blessed. It was a beautiful day. Weather's pretty perfect. We did some fun trivia with the parkies this morning and stuff I didn't know. They were like the dates that Easter falls between, which I know it fluctuates, but I didn't realize it fluctuated quite as much. It could be anywhere between March 22nd and April 25th, so almost the whole month of fluctuation. And how is it determined? And it's by the lunar cycle, by the moon, the first full moon, the Sunday after the first full moon after the spring equinox. Like, wow, it's a lot.
Wow.
A lot of little details.
Interesting.
Yeah, there was a bunch of fun little things like that. They said, why was the pretzel at one time associated with Easter?
The pretzel?
What? Yeah, the pretzel.
I don't know.
One of the boxers guessed that maybe they had it in the shape of like a crucifix or something. And no, it's because when your arms are over your chest, it looks like people hugging or embracing one another, like holding their heart type thing. Yeah, it was a bunch of fun facts.
Interesting. Let's see. Let's see. Just wait a couple minutes here, I think. I haven't heard from man, I was gonna say it, forgot her name already. Man. I gotta think about it. A, B, C, D, E. Oh, Christine. I think she moved to Mexico. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Yeah, I just saw a bunch of travel pics with kids, but I haven't heard anything specific.
She came off of Instagram, so that's why I haven't tagged her ever. And then I think I want to say last month, she's getting married and moving out of the country. But I don't know. I don't know if that happened or she's just taking a break or what. I think she's still in our group, right? Our chat. Is she in life group? Oh, let's see. Yeah, she's still in there. Oh, maybe she's out of the country. I know she was spending a lot of time in Mexico. I think she was trying to move there. So, see. Anybody talk to Lauren lately? Okay. What everybody do for Easter? Anything exciting? Did your parents have Easter at the house, Portia? Did you guys go to dinner or anything? Or?
Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time.
All right.
Did no details?
I feel like from that response, I knew I was there.
No, no details. How was your Easter?
I was at Zoe all day. We did 4. I drove Chad and picked up at his house. We just did 4. We did 4 all day. So it was got home like at 11 p.m. It was a paid day. It was nice. So they had brunch at their house in between the 12:30 and the 6. And then after the 6 was over, they did dinner there too. There's just a lot of people. Long day, but good. A lot of good people around. Good day. Did you guys do anything or no?
Went to a karate tournament and then
Did you end up going to Jay's? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was
cool.
fine. We went late. We didn't eat. We dropped off lots of love and baskets and gifts, and then we went and had some champagne and dinner with Mel across the street, and it was nice. Yeah,
Good.
worked out.
Cool. Karate Kid.
Got to see the baby, so it was good.
Yeah. So what I write? Oh, the dreaming one. Yeah. A lot of different things on this one. I think what I was when came up was one something particular that happened to me, like something I had a dream about, then happened. Then like when it happened, I felt I couldn't tell the difference between if I was after it happened, I couldn't tell the difference if it was or not. Like, quick question, I knew, yeah, but like it was interesting how exactly the same and like in the same detail and it happening. Like it felt like what most often described as like deja vu-ish, you know? Like, did that happen already? Or in a lifetime or wherever that realm is, or however you think about dreaming, I guess. You know, it kind of brought up the idea of where do dreams start and the difference between dreams and reality, the reason why they happen. Are we separating between true fantasy and reality and likeliness and impossibilities versus like, I don't know, just straight up maybe self-encouragement? Dreams could be titled maybe. There's all sorts of things that connect to dreams, like they say if you subconsciously heard something during the day or somebody's name or you scrolled across them online or that you're like, ah, it's crazy, you were in my dream last night. But if you track your yesterday, the day before back, it was because you were looking at their profile or their name came up, or your brain kind of programs things that go on in your life, and people can show up in that way, almost by suggestion to their brain. People can show up in your dreams spiritually. Past people you've been walking this earth or in daily life. Dreams can be completely 100% fantasy, like zero reality whatsoever, and can be on the realm of lunacy a little bit. Dreams can be very descriptive and real, like you didn't go to sleep at all, and it's like a continuation of your reality in your day. So I know there's so much stuff around dreams, meaning you type it in Google and it's like everything under the sun could come up. You know, what dreams mean, if you dream about a whale or if you dream about falling off a cliff or drowning, or that they have these meanings in your life that are some of them are pretty serious, you know, but they're generalized too. There's a lot of those ones where like if you feel like you're falling constantly, or if you feel like you're drowning, what they mean. I don't know. I had this like thing over the weekend. It was just like, if we always talk about the control we have over our lives and our decisions are the one that matter, how we allow people to affect us, how we allow to make decisions, I'm only at fault for my heartache for as much as I'm responsible for my decisions I've made to allow somebody to hurt my heart. Right? When we talk in terms like that, like our ultimate responsibility lies here. How does that, how or why would that really change in our dream state? You know, I think dreams come in the form of where our life is at the moment, or how our brain patterns are thinking, what we're thinking about, what's on our mind, the stresses of our lives, the ups, the downs, the successes, the loves. That I think it's another another part of our brain just reminding us of whatever it is going on. And I don't know if it's any different than positive self-talk or negative self-talk. We've talked about both, right? Like how much impact that either one of those can have on us, like talking ourselves into something, talking the bad situation into fruition before it had a chance to happen. Talking yourself into the light a little bit, talking yourself into spending more time with different influences in your life and how that affects your life. So I don't know. I just don't know if there's a real separation between that, and if there's something we can lean into on the dream state of like taking advantage of our downtime, because that is our like recovery time of our body. But how can we really tap into that and take advantage of when our body's off, if you will, recovering, that we can message it or send some better programming to our brains before we are actually going to sleep, if that makes sense. So like that's a continuation of our work. Like our sleep time, our dreams can be a continuation or like a celebration, if you will, or encouragement session. Like all these things, it could be like, to me, it's like it's a time that we're not taking advantage of it. I guess it makes sense. I think we just think of it as, while I'm sleeping, I dreamed about this thing, and a lot of times when we wake up, we don't sit up and like go back and think in detail of the dream. That's why a lot of times we'll lose a lot of it. It's spaced out. We don't remember the whole dream. So we'll wake up, start to do other things. But man, that dream was weird last night, or that dream was this or that. But if we were to wake up every morning and like this first thing we did was, let me look into that. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? Like, let me tap into that. Let me make my first part of the ritual. Like, what was that dream about? Like, did it mean anything? Where was it? What level was it in? Fantasy land? Was it in intentional? Was it part of my reality stretch? I just feel like maybe it's more important than we take it for, I guess, is where I'm getting at. Like, I think I'm always talking about efficiency, right? Like nerdy shit in science, and thinking to myself, how could we take advantage of the dream state, which sounds fucked up when I say it, but like how can we take advantage of the dream state to our advantage? Tap into it and say, man, it's just more time to myself, which I guess we don't take enough of, right? It's like true one-on-one time recovery when we're sleeping. It's like us, our brains, that's it. Like, to me, what about no better time than to hack that and try to intentionally use the dream state to our advantage. And I don't know the answers to it. I'm just talking out loud, but I know that the brain works in a very particular manner. I know that intuition, our hearts, our brains, our souls, our gut are always trying to tell us things. They're always trying to suggest things that we all struggle with understanding. And we've talked about a lot, like, what do we listen to? What are we listening to when we're making decisions? What are we listening to when we're making life choices? It can be anywhere from influences around us, parenting. It can be our what people call, oh, it's my gut. I just always go by my gut or my heart, or I manage through my brain. I'm a calculated thinker and thought and decision processor. But I don't know if there's an answer to that. I think we choose to decide where it comes from, like how we make decisions. What do I follow? My heart, my goal, my morals, my people, but I think in respect to that, the only thing that we have, and I believe it is us. Like, every single day, the person we can lean on the most is ourself, and lean into it and try to figure out why are the choices coming across my table in my brain? Why are these things showing up every day? Why are these things coming up? And I think those are the things we have control. We always talk about control the things you have control first, and then sort out the outside influences and the noise. Right? Because if you're not sorting your stuff out first, the outside influences can infect you, poison you, and start to make you think outside of your own realm of what you normally would go by. Right? Because indecision is the worst. It's the most affected by others. It has doubt in it, so it's allowed to be swayed and poisoned. So I don't want to go too far off the trail, but like, I think in the dream state, it's like, I guess we can go in 100 different ways. That's why it's a hard topic to talk about, because it can be, people believe so many different things in dreams, spirituality and does God speak to us in the dreams? Is it spirituality? Is it us just speaking to ourselves? Is it the time where, like a therapy session almost, is it the time where all the noise is down and nobody's around, that you're allowed to talk freely to yourself? is it that time that you're allowed to completely be raw with yourself and be real? I mean, there's some dreams that people have that they're embarrassed to talk about. So I guess the question lies is like, is it more, is the dream state and what's happening there, what things we can, is that more our reality than reality? I mean, let's get crazy with the conversation, but we fucking make up our reality every day. We skew our fucking reality every day to make it look differently to other people all the time. We change it, we lie, we filter it, we write it out in form, we put it on our profile. We lie all day long about what our reality is. So why is it any different than the dream state? It's like you can be an artist in the dream state and create things that are not of this world. When we're children, we're doing that constantly. We're crossing, to me anyway, we're crossing the two worlds, like the dream world and reality that's happening. As children, they don't even have those separated. It's like, you know, they're putting a wing pack on and they're thinking they're going to jump off the roof and fly, like quite literally. Doesn't even cross their mind. They might jump off the roof and break their leg. Because the mind's mixed between the creative, what the world has, the realities of the world, maybe like gravity, like it's not going to happen, and versus what your mind's telling you that's possible or can be possible. You know, so what is that? What is that? I don't know. Is it the time we talk about all the time where we go from children to adults? We start to lose some of that. We start to lose some of that enamorment with the possibilities of the world, that almost anything can be created, that I can fly. I don't know. I think some of the geniuses of the world that have suffered tremendously, not to us because we see their genius work and we see their genius that you created light, or Hughes created flying and all this stuff. But if you see documentaries about later and study these people, you understand they were deemed sick. And maybe not even by them, but like other people saw them close, like, yo, this person, he was crazy. I guess my question really is, was he? Was she? Like, I don't know. Maybe it was the ability to keep that crossover all the way through the adulthood that allowed them to do something as spectacular as the inventions they created, the things they left behind for humanity, that changed a globe of things. Maybe the idea of not being refined or confined in the confines of reality, and just allowing your brain to have this dream state and dream world, living in this reality of things, constantly going like this, so that you can expand your mind to things that, you know what, maybe aren't possible at the time, but it's only because the rest of us don't think or know that it's possible. And that sounds crazy until it doesn't, right? Everybody that's ever had anything around you in your space, this computer, that, you know, us talking on Zoom, these phones, this cars. I was talking the other day to Sierra was out here, and we were sitting at this place below the airport, and planes were just like flying by constantly for like 20 minutes. And I said to her, I'm like, I can't believe still, out of all the stuff I know, I consider myself to be pretty intelligent, that I understand how a plane takes off. I do not still quite get how that thing does not fall out of the sky on its way down. When it's slowing down, the engines are off, and it's floating, that massiveness doesn't just drop. You know, it's like, and I've read all about it. It's crazy to think about. But there's millions of things that are around us today. How does this mic transmit my voice to you guys in real time into your ear? Like, all these things that were created, when somebody was doing it, it was never thought of and it didn't exist. So anybody around was like, what the fuck are you talking about? you're gonna call somebody in China real time. What the fuck are you talking about? You're gonna fly from New York to California. It takes 17 months to get there. Like it's like on a horse. Like you don't. It's fucking insane to say things out loud until it's either invented or it exists, and it's not only that it's accepted by other human beings. Even when the plane was created, dude, they're calling this guy a psychopath. Like, he was crazy. He's already been in the sky. He's proven that he can fly a plane. And they were still like, dude, you are crazy. Humans are not going to fly in that thing to get places. That is a fucking joke. You're insane. And then people, he pushed. Now people riot. Now it's like the transportation, and it's never even thought about. Just 30,000 feet in the sky, 248 people on a flight, just banging at 600 miles an hour to their destination. And nobody, we're complaining about our seat room, our leg room, how close I have to sit with a person. It's like, everything is absolutely insane until it's not, until it's made. But then most importantly is like, until other people accept it as norm, and then we're like, oh, no, yeah, yeah. So in the light of something like that, how can yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. And I think it comes down to, if I had to wrap it up, like the constant suppression of the creative brain is happening all the time. I mean, it's still happening all the time, even though we have all this stuff, there's crazy inventions and awesome things that have been made in this world, and people are doing amazing things. It's not a pessimistic conversation. It's more about what about talk about mental health? Like, what if you're having dreams that are dark? Like anything else, it's not easy to share, but it's also easy to put like, oh, it was just a dream. But what if it's your subconscious? What if it's your mind telling you things, like, for real? What if it's another moment of opportunity that your inner is telling you straight up, hey, this is you. In both good and bad. So I used a bad example there, but both good and bad, potentially empowering dreams, dreams that borderline impossibilities, dreams that you wake up, you're like, yeah, that'd be awesome, but I couldn't do that. To the point of like, you dream about the life you wanted or want, or job, or you want to be a CEO, or you want to be the president of the United States, or sometimes we have these simple dreams that are actually can be reality, but we told them off as that was a dream, instead of using them as like something we would do during the day. Like, I don't know, write your life goals down on a piece of paper, or write in the mirror your proclamation for the week or the month. Like, we do stuff like that while we're awake all the time. And why can't we hack into the state of where our body does the most recovering and healing and repairing is while we're sleeping, between 2 and 5. So it's like, man, could we be intentional? Like, some of the stuff that's online talks about, like I said earlier, is it talks about like how dreams start that night because of what we've been paying attention to during the day or that week. So if some of that's true, we could biohack our dreams into positive recovery and positive dream state, and almost like a therapy session. So I don't know, when I said, am I still dreaming? It's like, part of it was to talk about this. The other part was like, I would love to not know the difference. It'd be pretty cool to not know the difference, like to live in a dream state where, if you remember the movie like Never Ending Story, that kid's reading the book, but he's reading the story. He's making the story he's reading. At the end, they start to hear his voice while he's reading, and they're like, you have to tell us what's next. And he's like, what? There's no way they can hear me. And the characters in the story are hearing him narrate. That's how the story's happening. it's one of the best movies I think's been ever made. In my opinion, you know, in the 80s, it's like, and that reminded me of that. It's like, I don't know. How cool would it, to me, how cool would it be to never have the separation between that, to never have to delineate that, oh, that's just me dreaming. It's not real.
I have so much to say.
Oh yeah, go here. Yeah, don't wait. Sorry.
Hold on,
I'm gonna ramble on it, so go, please.
hold on. No, because I mean, gosh, you said so much, but so I was so many things you said. So yeah, never ending story, one of the best ever. Great point about the characters finally screaming like, tell us what to do before we die, like you have the
Great.
power. That was like the best part of the whole thing. But so you are like, you are dreaming during the day too. Like we don't think about it like that because we get sucked into the societal obligations of the narrative of, you know, what you're supposed to be doing all day to look busy or whatever. But you have the capacity to be in a daydream day and night, in and out of conscious um states of being, and everything you're doing is a dream that hopefully you're putting into action. I mean, some more than others, obviously. um so many things. Oh my god, the thing about you absolutely can learn at night. There's all kinds of amazing studies out there about including in the womb, including classical music and different things that you can you know, put on so that you actually are learning. Your memory is actually incredible at night, and that's an interesting fact that most people don't know.
Yes.
So if something is introduced in your sleep, you tend to remember it, compartmentalize it in a different way than in your waking state. The biohacking is totally a thing. Like I used to have a very good friend who became a PhD in psychology, but she was also um, like special, you know, in other ways where she was, you know, part of a sustainable school and believed in alternative education and believed in taking psychedelics in the woods to clear her mind a few times a year and lots of other things, but also becoming this Western, you know, doctor of psychology. And she used to study astral projection, which is actually using your sleep state to leave your physical body, and you can actually travel to see others, see people, send messages, and have other experiences so that you're even doing work while you're sleeping, soul work. So astral projection is something you probably want to definitely pick up. There's probably some great books out on the Kelly Coast on that. But that's a really, really cool thing. And what right around the time that I was first introduced to it, a lot of the people around me were kind of in that realm of life. And, you know, I've certainly been visited by people in a non, you know, in just a way that just felt like a loving nod, you know, that they were there. It was, you knew it was a hug and, you know, then left, but you know, for sure, like physically that happened somehow. Um, the other thing I wanted to say is, you know, yeah, all the different things on like dream symbolism and, you know, those kinds of things. You know, they say if you dream about water, you're worried about marriage, or you're worried about commitments, or different things. There's all these things out there that are all, you know, interesting in themselves. But like you said, whatever we're going to surround ourselves with, also dreams are going to be produced in the visual cortex of our mind, where light is stored, like our something that has to do with our optic nerve. And whatever feeling is producing a chemical in our body. So if it's like a sexy dream, and that's why it's you know, like that's because it's coming from that area of thought. If
Right.
it's a worry dream, it's coming from someplace with cortisol that is trying to alarm you of something. If it's a you know, homeostasis alarm, that something is happening inside your body and it keeps waking you up at the same time, or having a recurring dream. Or if it's trauma from, you know, something you've repressed, then, you know, it's saying deal with me. You know, so it's all the different dream states are coming from all different signaling, that is really just the chemical response to whatever we're being exposed to or have been exposed to in life. And so can
So
we dictate
is there a
that?
difference
Yes.
So is there a difference between nightmare and dream, or we just titled that good and bad?
Yeah, I think that's just the negative or positive connotation on it or whatnot. I mean, you,
'Cause
yeah,
I don't know if there's a, I guess my point is, I don't know if there's a, when I say the separation between reality and dream, it doesn't have to be so clear. But even like that, nightmares and dreams, things that are haunting you, if you will, maybe a recurring nightmare or something that's waking you up out of your sleep. I know we title it as a dream, like dream state, like it's beautiful, and like nightmares are awful. But from what I'm saying, it's more like your body, similar to what you said, you are trying to tell you something
yes,
important.
100,
So
100.
I think in nightmares, what I've kind of dove into is like nightmares are the side that, again, people don't like to share. It's more like here. It's not always something you want to wake up and tell everybody about, or because it could be attached to some dark. Maybe
No.
you know, maybe you don't know what it's attached to. It makes you feel guilty. You're having those dreams. But if we take off that label of it and just talk about it's a state that our body's going through, then yeah, I mean, even when I say that, it's essentially our body is warning us. One, there's something not right happening, or two, maybe you're on the right path, like a dreamy dream. It could be like, hey, you're in this state of like creativity and growth, and like anything is possible. Wake up tomorrow and use it. Lean into
And
your
so,
job, do something different, speak up and say something like,
and
maybe that's the,
adding to,
yeah, go ahead.
no, adding to that exact sentiment is like what I was thinking the whole time you were saying it is my final thought is exactly what you said. The other part is, okay, Star Wars, the movie, Star Wars. I mean, everything about Star Wars
Yeah.
from beginning to end, completely 100% a figment of someone's imagination. Harry Potter, like whatever, these epic stories, the never ending story, whatever it is. So also the capacity for infinity, whether you're the inventor of electricity or the best writer of all time or fictional, like who the hell are these characters at the end of the universe that are talking to each other in languages we've never heard of or whatever. So all the things you said are true concurrently, and for all different reasons. And I think that the mind is capable of absolutely anything. They say that there's more infinite pathways and possibilities inside one single human brain than the entire universe itself.
Right. So there, to me, the correlation between, if you look at number one selling books and movies, they're fantasy.
Number one, what?
Number one selling books and movies are fantasy. They always have been, always will be.
Interesting.
Because I think it, and maybe, listen, maybe the directors and the creators of some of these ultimate things already know this. They're having this conversation, they had this conversation. They understand that like the limits are no limits. And they're pushing the idea that just like a cigarette company is pushing the idea of the addiction, they understand the human mind wants to expand, even though it lives in a conformity of reality. So, Harry Potter, all the Hunger Games, the Star Wars, the fantasy levels of ideas are the most aggressively selling, well done, written work. There's got to be something to that. It's got to be. It's coming at our want to
Dream.
want that to be happen. Want that to be a possibility. Want us to dream bigger and like, what if that was? I mean, dude, Comic-Con's like this thing is massive, and it was all created out of like dreams. Like these people are characters. They believe they are characters. It's the craziest thing you've ever experienced here, man. It's like, but to me, it's kind of cool that you can lean into the idea that even Star Wars, never-ending story, these thoughts and ideas came from another human. One, this wasn't above us. It's created by. I always say the greatest things in the world, no matter what they are, have been created by someone exactly like you and I, as capable as you and I. But what's the difference in people like that? Is it the key to them allowing their their world in here not to be compartmentalized into rooms. Like, this is my reality, how I have to act, and this is my dream state, my creative side. So, you know, I'll stay in my studio and be creative, but when I walk the streets, I'm gonna go ahead and wear my penny loafers and dress the part and make sure that I don't speak like.
I think that's why people like Robin Williams and a lot of people probably suffered so much, is because that line probably gets, you know, very blurry at some point, because when you allow yourself to live in a dream state, you don't necessarily fit in the world any longer, and that's where the mental you know, obstacle lies. It's difficult.
No, I think they said that about comedians. A lot of comedians suffer. We know that. It's a stat. I mean, SNL has more suicides than anything in history. But comedians across the board suffer a lot because they use their hurt and pain for the laugh. And then once they become big and more sought after, people are just laughing instead of understanding that that person's hurt. And that can be a very fucked up world to live in. And who am I now? Am I the funny guy? Or my outlet that kept me okay and not wanting to commit suicide is now turned into entertainment for somebody else. And that's a really dangerous thing right there to even think about. But I think you're right in terms of
Like, look at the circus.
Or
Look at the other side of that extreme, like the people that have decided, okay, maybe they were, you know, the tallest man, the blue man, the guy, the girl with the beard, all the people that ended up joining the circus during that time period, that time frame when that was a thing, okay, where people would pay to look at people and they went, well, I don't fit in society, so now I'll dream the dream that I can live a life and still be successful and a part of something big and entertain people and make them laugh and make them smile, whatever. So I'll join this, you know, group or this circus or whatever, to the point of, again, almost being enslaved by it, because then you can never fully get back out. I mean, once you're the bearded lady, right? Can you ever just go and be, you know, I don't know, live a normal life or whatever? I don't know.
Remember the movie The Jerk? Another like old movie.
Long time ago.
Well, anyways, it's about him being ends up being in a traveling circus. But the point is like, yeah, there was a session in time. It's like a bunch of people went and watched The Outcast as a performance. We had deemed that as entertainment to us normal people. But that movie and a couple of them have the aspect of being in the circus, and their world was the opposite. They're looking out these weirdos because this is who they were, and they were accepting each other.
Yeah.
Big Fish is another movie. Have you seen that? Big Fish is a phenomenal movie about this guy that kept telling stories his whole life, and his son was just like, I'm so sick of hearing dad's exaggerations of the truth, that he's fucking lying. He's constantly exaggerating. There's no way you did all this stuff. Like, there's no. And then when his funeral came, all these people showed up, and they weren't exactly what he said, but he story told these people into bigger positions on it because they were the weirdos, they're the outcasts, they're the strange people. In that movie, it's like, where's the different? Why is somebody so upset that this person has created such a beautiful world for themselves in their mind? Because they saw it that way. You know, they started to make characters out of life and humans, and in a positive way, that they created their life and their life story around the idea there's no limitations around the ideas of how you see the world. And then other people can be so upset by that. You're not living inside the lines. The crayons are all over the fucking place. You're not coloring the right numbers.
And that's the exact thing they thought of the guy who did electricity and everything else, and that the world would not have been forever changed.
Well, look, Jesus.
He was a crazy man.
I mean, Jesus was the same thing. It's like, you know, talk about Easter, like the resurrection, Jesus, the things he did, things he said were ludicrous. It was nuts. It was, I'm the breathing air, I'm the living water, I'm the Messiah, it was like, oh, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? It's like, it's crazy until it's backed up. It's crazy until it's accepted amongst more than one person. It's crazy. And I feel massive empathy and sadness for all the people that, didn't live a full life and left this world early because the timing wasn't right for at least one other person to accept them. So they thought that they weren't allowed to be here. They thought that they didn't fit here. They thought that I'll never be understood. I'm the broken one here. And when it's quite the opposite. So like I have massive, this thought is so big because it's like we've spoken a lot about let's be childlike, let's be more childlike. And it's easy for us to say these things, but like then we get back to life and go back to work and we do the things that are part of our daily days and run into the people or the pessimist or the guy that's like, why do you think like that? That's constantly happening in our life. The challenges we keep bumping into. We leave the house and we bump into one. We try to get in the car, we bump into one. We get to work, we bump into one. It's like you get home and you feel bruised up a little bit on your outsides because you feel like you've been getting checked all day. And you gotta like, okay, that's just part of this. It's part of it. Because I'm not the box. I'm gonna get bumped, right? I'm not inside the line, so I'm gonna fall off the part of the picture that hasn't been drawn yet. Like if there's a page of infinity of blankness and somebody draws a picture on it, well, the picture is the idea of reality, but the rest of the page becomes the opportunity. It's unused space, thought, time, unused opportunity, unused literally opportunity, space and paper that could have been brought to the edges. Like we never even talk like that. You have an 8x11 page, the margins come in. I mean, you just notice something so simple. They put margins in here. All this space is wasted. Tell me why. So it looks neater on the page. It's lined up. It's neater. A certain amount of words fit. So it looks presentation like to whoever you're giving it to. But have you ever seen, I think Amber's notes are like this. I've seen your pile before you wrote the book, but when you see artists and people, it's like they're writing, they start writing on the page.
Every
and then
direction.
They turn the page to fill out another idea. They turn the page and then they put a little parrot and try to fit 17 more words in here and they turn it over here. And then by the time that page is done, it is a jumble of ideas. And the person you might hand it to, like, where the fuck am I supposed to start? But it doesn't fucking matter what the person has to be directed to tell them where to start because you're the one that understands the ideas. You're the one that has the wherewithal to explain your world in that way, in that depth. And that, do you want me to put it into the form? Okay, fine, I'll put it into a book. It's not going to change. It's not going to change my expression of my ideas. It's just going to help you understand me better because you live inside the book and the square. And I don't. And it's like, bigger picture, but it's if our limitations only become 8x11 and we're only using, look all the white on that page. I mean, just the simple fact we're just wasteful people. We're not even talking about the artistry now. We're just fucking wasteful people. It's like, oh, just use the right here. We take how many of these times, how many reports we have to send out a year? It's like weird that globalization's happening. Weird that trees are being weird. We have to come up with the idea of recycling because we waste so much, not because you can fucking recycle. But to not get on that topic, my point is if this is the amount of paper we get for us, we should be starting right there and writing as small as possible to get all of our stuff in there, covering all the white up and being that creative and not having to make sense of it either because who fucking cares? It's the ideas that get out of us, that come out of us that are most important. They don't have to be in line or organized, if you will. That's a better word for it. I think the reality part of this conversation is wanting to be organization of things and thoughts and ideas. The dream state is free flow thought. zero judgment. Nobody's watching. Nobody can stop you. You can't be told what to do. And mixing those two, if you live in a very boxed reality world and you dream big, you know, a lot of people are doing jobs that they hate today. A lot of people. But they feel like they're this person, but they have to be this person to survive. And everybody knows those people. I've been one of those people. Like, you know, our mother never had the choice to decide if she was me one or the other. It was like it just started here. Like I have to be this person, make sure my kids can take care of, and period. But I love art, I love photography, and I love this, but never got a chance to entertain it. Because maybe she would have been called a bad mother if she did. You know, it's like we do have these constraints and fears, but like, why? I don't know why. Why the fuck? Like, why can't we continuation of our dreams from sleep to paper to reality? You know, and constantly have to have these delineations between what's acceptable. The one I heard all the time is, which I cannot stand how people use it today. It's been overused, is this work-life balance bullshit. Because I get the idea why people say it, but again, it's separating you as two different human beings. Just balance is fine, right? Just mental health could be the word that encapsulates that, but like work-life balance. It's literally in the statement saying that you have to be two different people. That for some reason that you can't have one life that has a balance of all the things you love that makes you happy. And if that's 90% your work because you're
No.
great. If it's 10% of your work and 90% of your life, or if it's 50-50, or if it's another thing too, balance means this, by the way. Balance means equal, like it means this side. So again, it's in the saying, it's saying work-life balance, it can be 50-50. It's how you become happy. It's fucking bullshit. It's just like saying, like, you know, you're a big dreamer. You know, keep that stuff at home. Where I work now. You know, it limits our creativity and our space by putting these lines in it. So I don't know. I had a very real situation happen. It's like, and it's like, I don't really care the difference. Like, I want to be accepting more, I guess, of the idea that my mind, my everyday life is telling me things I need to listen more. That's all. Like I need to listen to these things. It can't just me deciding that I want to do Mondays on here, and as we talk through things, that's the only way that I can be helped or help myself. Right? I want to listen to what my body's telling me too, and like my inner mind without my voice. You know, to me, that's dream state. That's like downtime. That's when nobody's around. What are my thoughts telling me when I'm not verbally speaking them? Can I start to use my mouth to express the actual words that are my thoughts and be okay with what comes out? That's always been a big one. I spend a lot of time in the car now, always have. I've traveled a lot, flights or car. And anytime I love talking to people, anytime that I can't speak to people, or it's in a situation just I don't have the opportunity, I do a lot of talking to myself, a ton. I'll go through and overdo something or an idea or a thought, or expand this conversation I want to have with somebody and talk it out. And I used to do it a lot and then never take it to words because I thought it was just for me, right? Talking it out, making sure that it's like, can I have a situation that's coming up that's going to be tough? If I talk it out for 20 minutes inside my own head, maybe I'll look at it different. So then when I actually verbalize it, it's not going to come off any different. But you know, what I'm trying to work on now is like whatever comes there is also allowed to be said through my verbal actions too. If I'm speaking to myself in the car or playing or in this constant conversation, I need to have it verbally as well. Like the next opportunity I get, I should be able to have that
No.
now with a person across from me. And I think I mentioned this weeks back, it's like, I was kind of laughing about it. That I've had these experiences where I've had like my conversation in my head with people in front of me, and they're like, yeah, I don't really enjoy hanging out with you. Not like said, like cross me. I've never had somebody say that, but you can feel it, and then all of a sudden they've separated themselves from you. And no judgment, like just because I'm working on being able to say my thoughts out loud. I'm only saying that again because of the dream state. It's like, one, can we biohack it? Two, if we're having them speak about them, let's talk about them. Let's talk them out. Let's see, like, man, what does that mean for me right now? Like, where's my brain frequency at, my patterns? And we talk about brain frequency, we're on frequencies live in depression, anxiety, right? And then neutral state, and then hypertension, all that stuff. There's a different levels of the frequency that our brain can be on for days, months, weeks, years. And depending on where we're at, this can be triggering, our dream state. And if our dream state's traumatic, it's interfering, like Amber's talking about the chemicals, it's interfering with our recovery state, which is this is not good. Like, why do you think so many people have trouble sleeping? The numbers, I have trouble sleeping. I've looked in all sorts of shit, so I know a lot of this studies and ideas and how do you sleep better, all these things. But I don't think it's just like, oh, some people can't sleep. It's all the data that's flowing through us more and more every day is becoming more and more concerning and hard to filter through. So we're a little bit more on edge. We're a little more concerned with our personal lives, so maybe the global life, if you're a big thinker, or we just have so much going on, so much coming in. It's like our brain has less quiet time than it's ever had in the history of humanity. It's like you go now, like for me personally, I go now to a place where my phone doesn't work. I can't hear a car. Like, it's like quiet. I'm like, like, what the fuck? Internally. I'm so used to not being there anymore. And as a kid, I grew up like we went to the Adirondacks and stuff. There was no fucking phone. There was no boat motors or phone. It was just quietness for creativity in your mind and your body. I don't know. And today I get in that spot and I'm like, did they shut off the program? Did they shut the matrix off? Like, I'm almost a little paranoid because I'm like, just not used to it as much. We just have so much coming in.
It's so important though that we stay in tune with that root place of where we're from, and that vibrational quiet, and that brown noise, and that hummingbird, and the sound of the trees, and that stays our normal. And when we realize it, we all get caught up in that a few years in, a few years go by or whatever, that you haven't spent enough time in the woods or in nature or out on the mountain or in the ocean or whatever it is. And you got to just get back to it, because that's the most important thing for peace. And if you're someone that is unable to either do that geographically or weather-wise or whatever, yoga is the next best thing. Unless you're someone that can really learn to deeply meditate, because the only tool to return to peace is you. And there's no hospital or nothing that can help you other than the training that it takes and the practice that it takes daily to take that deep breath and come back to that place and that space in that moment.
Yeah.
And sleep being so important, most people think you need so much more than you do. You really need 6 good hours to reset the nervous system. But if you can't get that, there is too much stimulus, there is too much blue light, there is too much crap that is useless thought, not enough creativity, not enough singing, not enough dancing, not enough nature. And find yourself an acupuncturist immediately, because they're the only person that can stick that needle in that says go to sleep, and that really actually gives you a hormone balance so that you can really actually get rest. But you know, that's something that we have to be aware of all the time. We don't talk about enough, that we're the only one that can really truly bring ourselves back to peace. You know, someone's not going to bring us over a warm bottle of milk. Um, you know, like when we're a baby, and we have to learn to self-soothe. And if we know enough about nature, nature is the self-regulator, you know, changing that vibration. And so, you know, when you're uncomfortable in the silence, go jump in the ocean, or jump
But the,
or run up the mountain, or you know.
the bigger idea would have to be, from the big idea would have to be how to incentivize people to understand that the benefits lie in being asleep, not awake, to get ahead, if you will. So a lot of people are in this culture of go, grind, wake up before everybody, go to bed after everybody. You got to beat the next person. Like the accessibility, always check my emails. That is the world in a generality today. It's been pushed more and more of like, first it was emails, because now you can access it at home. And it's like, now you're taking your work home, but now it's the phone. And no matter where you are working type mentality. And not only the accessibility to you, for some people that are still trying to keep work out of their personal life, but people have more access to you. So if you choose to say, you know what, I don't pick up my phone after 5. Well, now it used to be like people will wait for tomorrow. Now they're just moving to the next person. So now people are having fear of like, well, if I don't pick up my phone, I'll lose that customer. Or this I thought it's like, so we're getting pushed more and more to this like grind. You can work out 4 hours sleep. I wake up at 4 every day for everybody's up. I go to bed last. I wake up first and work out. It's like all these things, and we're actually not encouraging the actual facts in the human body. You know?
That's why it was so
Animals hibernate, not take naps. They hibernate for seasons, right? Recovery, rest, and time, so that when they come out for their season of their life, it is in abundance and resting well, and they hunt and they gather in their family. We need to sell the narrative more of like, look, going to bed is actually the gold. That's where you make $1 million. Don't tell anybody.
It truly is, though. And if you think about, like, we're the last generation to truly know what it feels like to have lived during a time like our grandparents had it best. Like, EJ's wasn't calling grandma after the whistle blew. Okay, when that whistle blew, everyone was free until the whistle blew again tomorrow at 7 a.m.
Right.
That means whatever you did with your night, your evening, your morning, whatever, it was up to you and your private, recreational, family, whatever it was. And those times were freaking golden. I mean, everybody was home after 5 p.m. Everybody was home every weekend. There was no, you know, and that, you know, the rare people, but, you know, for the most part, that was the greatest part, was that, you know, there was no access. It was what it was. The bell rang in the city you lived in, or, you know what I mean? It wasn't, yeah, you walked away and then you were with your family. It wasn't, people couldn't get to you and attack your nervous system constantly with their stupid emails and their dumb self-important bullshit. You know, it's
Yeah.
best times ever.
Yeah.
We sat on the porch. We used to sit on the porch with grandma and watch a rainstorm come in and count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi between
right.
thunder and lightning to see how far away the storm was. That's how much time we had. We don't have that kind of time now.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It was the best time of my day.
Yes, it truly is interesting. It's just
We can go back to that, though, and we can keep teaching that to future generations, as foreign as it's going to seem to them. Even the difference between Europe and America, they've said for many years that Europeans are much better at understanding the value in taking your time, taking long lunches, taking holidays, taking a month off, you know, really, you know, walking to work, bicycling, painting a picture at lunchtime. Like, who the fuck has time for that? I'm going to go over to the river and paint a picture at lunch and still make it back for lunch and eat. Like, what?
Yeah, everybody does. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's the idea of
So
accessibility.
it's a choice.
Yeah. It's
Choices.
It's making the mandatory shutdown reality versus having the accessibility whenever you want all the time.
Yeah.
The restaurant's closed. Well, I don't care. Uber Eats it. I want it at my house now. I'm not even gonna go there. I want it brought to me. You know, we just have a lot of choices to have accessibility. And I think what we don't look at is we look at the idea of everything's at our fingertips. When we want it, we can get it. You know, Amazon World or Uber Eats or this or that. And what we're not fully understanding, like most things in life, is on the other side of the accessibility, someone is pushed to the limit to make sure you get that. But the world doesn't work. Today it doesn't, off humans not being involved in that accessibility. So I'm gonna wake up at 1, I want food at my house right now, sushi. Well, some dude is driving an Uber 24 hours a day to make his rent to get you sushi that you want at 1 a.m. And you're just like, dude, you gotta knock my door. You hand it to me? You left it at my door? So it's like, we just don't fully.
Not just that, but no matter how rich you get, if the power goes out, we're all in the same boat. You got
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. And I don't even see like accessibility as from a financial standpoint.
Yeah.
Some of my friends that have zero money, all they ever do is DoorDash and Uber Eats, like it's 24/7, 3 meals a day. It's like laziness comes into this stuff too. But my point is like, there's somebody on the other side of our convenience that's going through it. You know, we don't ever do that. Maybe one day it'll be robots and we can just abuse the shit out of it. Like we probably want to, but there's humans on the other side of convenience. And the more we make everything so easy for ourselves, it's harder for somebody else too. I can't just climb the ladder and make my life so efficient that I can get this done and do that. And I can make sure I eat healthy too. I have the plates come to my house and I'm this machine, because everything to make that work, there's a human behind probably suffering because they got to push the handle 24 hours a day. They got to push it. They got to pick up the phone. They got to fucking leave their kids and go pick from a restaurant and drive it to you and get it to you. You know, and that part is the disease of the wheel. But we jumped off a little bit, but I think it's just the dream stuff for me is allows people to be more creative and thought and idea instead of being just what's available to me in my reality. You know, what jobs available to me in reality. It's like, let me go online and see what jobs are available for my skill set. And it's like, holy shit, if I ever did that, I would never work. Because for me to describe my skill sets, I don't even know where to start. Like, I think I'm bragging moment. I couldn't even write a resume today. Because I would have to create it and craft it towards the job I was trying to apply for, which means I would leave stuff off it on purpose. Because God forbid I took up the whole entire paper from corner to corner, nobody'd hire me. So he'd be like, yo, this guy doesn't understand the rules. Inside the margin, dog. Like, okay, so you want to know the limited version of me? And that's what I'm saying. Like we're constantly putting it on each other to give us the limited version of ourselves to one another. And this goes to everything we talk about: dating and relationships and ideas and dreaming and reality and constraints and faith. And we gotta stop fucking putting limitations on what we take from people. If we truly want all of it, we gotta take all of it. We truly want someone to work for us and be the very best or replace us someday, or why can't I find another me to take over my business? Well, the better question should be, have you ever tried to find it? Have you ever allowed somebody else to be you in your presence? The most likely answer is no. We don't want, like, deep down, we don't want somebody to outwin us when we brought them into the table. Like, this is mine. I built it. I spent 30 years on it. I bitch to everybody how I want, find somebody to replace me, or can I just find another me so we can just double this? And you find that person, like, yo, whoa. It's enough. Okay. Come on, too strong there. Get back out in the basement. It's like, so I just think we gotta be open to the idea of outside limitations. Like I say edge to edge paper. But again, even if you write edge to edge in 8x11, somebody told you that 8x11 is your space. You know what I mean? Like, why do you think artists that see everything touchable and taggable? Because whatever is available becomes the space, right? Artist mind is like thinking this, like, this whole room has area for me to do this on. And I couldn't possibly show you on a piece of paper. I think we should just be more like that. We should tap into that dream state, if you will. Am I still dreaming? I hope so. You know, there's some dreams I don't want to wake up from. I've been in dreams before that I'm like, I'm starting to wake up, but I know it's a good one, so I like forcefully go back to bed and see if I can extend it. You know what I mean? I've ever had a dream like that. It's like, but you've already interrupted it because you kind of woke up, so you can't get quite back to it. Then you wake up. Like,
I've
fuck.
tried to tell myself details like on my way back to bed. Like, remember,
Right.
you were just at the forest. You were at the forest.
Right? Yeah. Like you have to go
Yeah.
up to get to the bathroom so bad. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to pee. I'll wet the bed. And on the way back, you're like, okay, where was I? It's like it just doesn't. Unfortunately,
Very true.
because you're in this realm of recovery, you are going through that dream state, and you can't just wake up out of 4 levels and then drop back into it like that. But it's funny because, you know, why possibly would we wake up and be like, oh, I gotta pee really quick and then get back to that? There's something about like the dream state that's like we want, just like those movies, like the Harry Potters. They have this pull to us of like this expansive world of ideas that are possible to us, and we want that. It's addicting because it opens our brains. We get to go sit in a movie theater for 2 hours and nothing else matters. We get to fall into this world of like awe, and then when we leave, we're like, oh, that was just a movie. Well,
I think we need to eat more mushrooms.
yeah. Well, look, I would argue the fact that was it just a movie? Because again, it was created by a human being like me and you with a brain. Nobody else thought that up. A brain laid that out in their head and put it onto visualization for you to understand their brain. And we're in awe.
Well, and why did so many millions of people not knowing what was going on in this one person's brain latch onto the concept? Like, ooh, Star Wars is really cool. Like, wait, Avatar, whatever, you know,
Like,
yeah, like
the highest grossing ever of all time. It's like, what can somebody even? You sit down a bunch of people after the movie, explain what that is. Why'd you like it? What is that world? It's all fantasy, right? It's a dream. It's fantasy. It's the thought-provoking idea of what a dream can be or mean. And
listen, because of Tom and Jerry, I wanted to play instruments with Jello and turkey sticks and everything on the Thanksgiving table. I mean, they showed you what was possible. Again, just a simple dream of turning dinner into a symphony, or, you know, the silliest little things. I mean, it's the smallest thought or the largest thought.
yeah, what if we do that? What if I went to Easter dinner here yesterday and I just started drum rolling the table with my chicken wings?
You'd probably end up the most popular guy.
Or people whispering like, what's been going on with Mike lately? Has anybody talked to him?
Maybe.
In generalities, I'm saying, not the people we hang out with. If we all did it around a table, we're all together right now, we all did, everybody laughing, we'd be getting food fight. But we always speak to things in generalities because what's happening in this world is in numbers, right? The things that are happening in this world are in big numbers. The minority thinkers are in small numbers. So if we're all in the same room, we're doing that, yeah, it's a food fight, we're laughing and everybody's giggling. Could turn into a tickle fight, it could be anything. But if we're socializing amongst our peers and maybe you're the person that got invited, it's off limits. I don't care who you are, I don't care how crazy you are, because you don't want to appear crazy. It's just how we are. We want to do it because we know it'd be funny. We've had fun doing it with other people, but it's like, fuck man, do I pull this off right now? I don't want to leave here in a straitjacket, but I do want to have a good time because it's fucking boring. So we gotta balance our reality and our dreams and what dreams to tap into, like, which ones are important, which ones were just there to be light on our heart. Like, we've had dreams that are just a little more fantasy-ish dreams of like maybe characters and things that are out of this world, and you wake up and you're like kind of smiling. It was just for that. Sometimes we have really, really detailed dreams that are, is something speaking to me? Am I speaking to myself? Is someone speaking to me through a dream? Is this something I need to be paying attention to? Why is it coming to me now? I think just in general, the dream state can be so important to you listening to what's on your mind and heart. And, you know, when you wake up into your reality, that you give it the attention it deserves. In any way, and whatever it was. So that dreams don't have to be dreams or nightmares, that they can be just your thoughts being provoked. It can be your thoughts being encouraged. It can be your thoughts trying to tell you, hey, stupid, now that I got you one-on-one, listen up. You know, it could be the moment where we're like held captive to ourselves only to be allowed to talk to ourselves. So, yeah, I think we should just keep merging the worlds. Dream state and reality shouldn't be different, to the point where we shouldn't have to be put in straitjackets because we're living our dream out loud and verbally in action and all these things. It should just be, wow, that guy was fun. You know, not really, it's not my speed, but it was fun. You know, I can go home and laugh and nobody else is around. That was pretty funny. That guy was pretty... And don't we do that? I mean, I've been in a situation, I can remember, that we've been out and it's like, yo, did you see those two? Like, not while we were there, but you come home and you're proud and you're kind of talking it out. And I was like, I don't know, I thought it was pretty funny. You didn't say that in front of everybody else. So, yeah, I don't want to get attached to him right now. I don't know this guy, man. I don't know if he's getting loonied up tomorrow, or, you know, I'm gonna lose my job if I hitch up to this guy. So, you know, we have so much of that judgment attached to us. But man, when I think of the Never Ending Story and the Big Fish and the Jerk, these movies, I'm thinking like, God, how much fun would it be to live amongst a community, society of all that? Just like all the characters being like that, and you show up to work and this guy's, everybody's like, what's going on? And he's just telling the story. Everybody's fucking laughing their balls off, and they're like, oh my God, that's great. All right, let's get to work. And just the day started out like that, or, you know, like there just wasn't a limitation to the possibilities. And the conference rooms and powwows and think tanks were not just the CEO standing up in front of his staff talking this out. Okay, I need you guys to come up with the best ideas for this company, win this freaking area, and you need to do that, you need to do this. We need to come back here, we're gonna meet in 4 hours in this room, and everybody better come up with an idea. I mean, really, isn't the best way, like I've seen, we've sat around, everyone's been there, like with our friends, that we didn't have an agenda, but we came up with some awesome shit. We were just in the same space together. We started talking and rambled. Some of it was serious, some of it was crazy. And all of a sudden, it turned into like, that could happen. We could, and I think that is the creative space of the quality of like, as long as everybody's free to spit out their verbal mush and their dream stuff here that sits here all day in their brain, they're scared to tell everybody, that holy shit, we could have some cool ass shit we have. You know, it's just like, who's gonna defy? I feel like a lot of times we feel like we're gonna defy somebody if we speak up in a room. Like whoever led the conversation or whoever's home's hosted, or instead of just maybe offering some of the best stuff to the room. You know, so anyway, I know we've gone long, but yeah, the dream and reality, I hope we can just take the lines off them and smear them a little bit more and smear the paint all over the page, and be able to not be limited in our thoughts and our ideas. And most importantly, never look at something and then have a pre-thought about it. Like, oh, I just had this dream that was so intense, or it does it mean this, or does it change my life, or it's outside of the realm what I've been doing during my day. We don't have to deny or accept anything fully. We just have to pay attention to stuff. Is what I'm trying to say. Is there a meaning for us? Is there something in it? Is it ours? Is it us telling us something? Is it just an experience we were supposed to have to embrace something else? And I don't know. I think when we pay attention to stuff, we're just more aware every day. And sad feelings can be amazing outcomes. You know, sometimes we get sad about something like, well, why? Because it's amazing. The possibility could be amazing. You know, I think if we're just more thoughtful about these things, it's like, man, so much more beneficial. So, on that note, hope you guys have the most outstanding dream side. This will be our test. We talked about dreams the entire time. What's going to happen when we go to bed? I might just stay up all night so I don't have to dream.
Tape your eyes open.
Yeah, like no.
That's so creepy. Hey, just as a side job and as far as dreams go, have you been stopped one time since you moved to LA and anyone thought you were Leonardo DiCaprio?
No.
I cannot believe that doesn't happen to you constantly. Like, I'm your sister and I've looked at you my entire life, and every once in a while, like every few minutes, I'm like, he looks just like Leo. I literally think it repeatedly. And so I'm just saying, maybe you could sell some autographs. Okay.
Oh, maybe I'll be him for Halloween. See what happens. I'll get more places. I'll
Just start dropping his name at restaurants, dude.
Yeah.
Just start dropping his name at restaurants. I just want to see if you could pass for him.
That'd be
Be
a great
amazing.
idea. I mean, probably not out here because he's pretty inundated in his
But he's
life.
private. He doesn't like really go out, does he?
He's out. He's out.
All right.
Yeah.
I think you're his doppelganger.
That's a savage. Huh?
Jay just said he doesn't go out with armed guards. You have to pay a couple of guys to walk with you, some goons in black talking to a hand mic.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right.
All right.
Well, I hope
love
everybody
guys.
has sweet dreams.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Feel free to share them in the group chat tomorrow. All right. Good night, y'all. Love you.
Love y'all.